Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boston University Financial Planning webinar. It's wonderful to see so many of you attending live today to learn how our highly ranked program can prepare you for CFP certification in this growing field. My name is Sarah, and I will be moderating today's session alongside our presenters, Carolyn Tommen and Carrie Scott. We invite you to ask questions throughout the webinar by typing in the questions box in your GoToWebinar console panel located on the right-hand side of your screen. We will also be conducting a few polls during the webinar and would love for your participation. We will address your questions towards the end of the presentation during the questions and answers session. And for all of you, this webinar is being recorded and a link will be shared to your email for your reference and to share with colleagues either tomorrow or Friday. So keep a lookout in your inbox for that. I would now like to introduce our presenter, Carolyn Tommen, the Program Director for Boston University's Financial Planning Program. Carolyn has helped develop this program and taught CFP courses and reviews. She has co-wrote the Principles of Estate Planning textbook and has served as chair of the CFP Board's Council on Education. Carolyn does bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the program and is an excellent mentor for new or seasoned financial service professionals. And Carolyn, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much, Sarah, and hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us today. Now, we have a lot of information that Carrie Scott and I would like to share with you today. So I'm going to start off this session by telling you, first of all, and we have them bullet points on the next slide here. First of all, like what financial planning is all about. Then also we want you to be aware how you can become a certified financial planner professional. Then we'll also talk a little bit about some career opportunities that are available in this field. And of course, we want to talk about the BU Financial Planning Program. Okay, so let's begin about talking about what financial planning is. And the reason I bring this up is because some people really believe that financial planning only involves investment planning or portfolio management. And while, of course, that's a very important part of financial planning, there are so many other aspects that are involved. Financial planning is actually a process, and it's to help clients meet their financial goals. This is really the most rewarding aspect of our career. So it's not surprising that 90% of certified financial planners said that they're either satisfied or highly satisfied with their career choice to become CFP professionals. And as you can see by these statistics, there are many, many advantages to becoming a CFP professional. There's 26% more in compensation for CFP professionals than other financial advisors. 70% of consumers that utilize financial planners choose CFP professionals, up to 59% above the national average for salaries in Boston, San Francisco, Dallas, and Phoenix. And also 70% of CFP professionals surveyed believe the CFP certification has had a positive impact on client trust and technical expertise. Okay, so next slide, we're going to show the different financial planning subjects that you should be aware of. So we've actually, what I've listed up here is 7, but let me just tell you about the first 6, because we're starting off with the general principles of financial planning. This actually includes education planning, debt management, mortgages, budgeting, cash flow statements, things of that nature. So it's really the foundation and fundamentals of financial planning. But then the other subject areas that are important to financial planning are insurance planning and risk management, income tax planning, which is personal, not corporate income tax planning, investment planning, retirement planning and employee benefits, and estate planning. Now, these 6 subjects correspond to the 6 financial planning courses that the BU program offers in our program. Each of these courses will cover all of the CFP board topics that planners are expected to know and which are tested on the board's certification exam. Now, the last course in the BU Financial Planning Program is the capstone course in financial planning. And this one is really important because it actually integrates the knowledge that you have learned in all of the other 6 courses to help you learn how to develop a financial plan. Okay, so first of all, I want to see whether or not you're aware of the fact that anybody can call themselves a financial planner or a financial advisor without obtaining any special education or credentials. Now, some people are really surprised by that. You could call yourself a financial planner today if you wanted to, but you can't call yourself a certified financial planner. And certified financial planners are obviously very different. They have to go through a very rigorous 4-step process in order to get certified. And what we're going to do today is we're also going to be going over the process that they're going to. What certified financial planners have is they have a fiduciary duty to put their clients' interests first before their own. And this is a very high standard, and it does not necessarily apply to all financial advisors. And really, that's why the CFP mark is recognized throughout the world as the gold standard of excellence in the financial planning field. A CFP is the certification that clients trust and that the public turns to when they're looking for financial advice. Okay, next slide. All right, so we're calling this one a growing field. The CFP board oversees the financial planning profession and the certification process. Through its media campaign, it educates the public about the benefits of working with CFPs over other financial advisors. You may have even seen some of their commercials recently on TV or heard their spots on the radio, especially NPR. Now, the result is that more consumers are choosing to work with CFP practitioners now over other financial advisors. Once they get to see the difference between someone who's just a financial planner or financial advisor over those who are certified financial planners, the public is choosing CFPs more often. And even though right now we have over 83,000 CFPs in the United States today, there aren't nearly enough to satisfy public demand. So this is really a great time to enroll in the BU program and start working towards getting your CFP certification today.
All right, now at this time, we ask for our audience participation in taking a poll. And you can do that in your console panel here as I launch the poll. Okay, our first poll question is, I am currently working in the financial planning field and a CFP designation would help me grow in my career. Our answers are yes, I am rather new to the field. Yes, I have been in the field for 10 plus years, or no, I am not currently working in the financial planning field. Please just take a moment to answer the poll here and then we'll comment on some results. All right, I will close the poll and share our results. All right, it's great to see many people.
Yeah. It's really interesting to see that most of the people who are with us today are not currently working in the financial planning field. So we will certainly gear this presentation to you to tell you a little bit more about the field and even some career opportunities for you too. And look at that, 35% are new to the field as well. We have some veterans with us today. We have 24% of them have been in the field for 10 years or more, and I'm sure you're looking for CFP certification to help you with your career. So anyway, we'll certainly have information for you too.
Great.
Okay, so actually, let's start talking about that 24% of you who are already working in financial planning or financial services. You may be interested to know that 76% of CFPs said that CFP certification contributed directly to their professional success. CFP certification can also provide you with a competitive advantage over other financial advisors and may increase your earning potential as well. So there are some really great incentives to get started on your CFP education today. And if you want to know anything about those surveys, I would say to you, look up the ITAE group. It's AITE group in Boston. They're the ones that publish some of these surveys on the compensation arrangements for those who are CFPs versus those who are financial planners. And if you need any of those statistics, I'd be happy to provide them for you too. And then for those of you who aren't working in financial services right now, there's really good news for you too, because once you get your CFP certification, there are so many different types of financial service firms that you can work for. And so we just put together a list of some of the firms that will typically hire CFP professionals, such as banks, especially trust departments, insurance companies, accounting firms, human resources, brokerage firms and mutual fund companies, and also nonprofit organizations, such as universities and charitable organizations too. And of course, you can also work in financial planning firms too. These firms typically range from the large institutional firms, but also to the smaller boutique financial planning or wealth management firms. There are so many different ways that you can get involved in working in the financial planning field, not only in some of the industries that we mentioned in the prior slide, but also if you wanted to not only work for financial planning firms, but you may also want to start your own practice or buy into an existing practice in your area. The reason I'm mentioning this to you is because right now there are many older CFP practitioners who are looking to train younger planners to take over their practices in the future. As a matter of fact, there are more financial advisors now over age 70 than under age 30. So if you can imagine that, you can see this profession is aging out pretty quickly here, and we need new people to come into this profession and keep it vibrant and running. So there are many good reasons for you to get your CFP now and start working in this field today.
All right, thank you, Carolyn. And now we will take another poll here and ask for the audience participation. Let me launch the poll. With my CFP certification, I plan to work for a financial planning firm, start my own practice, work for a brokerage firm or mutual fund, work at an insurance company, or work at a bank. I'll just give a moment here for the audience to collect their answers. All right, we have a few trickling in here. It's great to see so many people participating. And I will now close the poll and share results.
Wow, that's really incredible. Many of you are really interested in working for financial planning firms, or definitely getting very much involved in the financial planning field. And a high percentage of you also want to start your own practice at 34%. So that's really interesting. We've got a lot of people who are obviously have the entrepreneurial spirit and will certainly do well in these courses. You'll be, I think you'll get excited about going through the program and being able to work for financial planning firms or your own practice too. We have 15% say they want to work for a brokerage firm or a mutual fund company, and then a smaller amount, 3%, work for an insurance company, and 8% work for a bank. All of these are viable options for you. So the best part about getting your CFP is that we do have all these different options that are available to us to create our own career path, the one that we really would like to pursue. So let's talk some more about career opportunities. Well, we put up here that employers want BU students. This is really true. The employers, especially in the Boston area, they know that our financial planning graduates have the knowledge and the expertise that they're looking for in their firms. And there's so many financial institutions and financial planning firms in the Boston area that seek out our graduates, such as the ones that you all want to work in, such as banks and insurance companies, financial planning firms, brokerage firms, mutual fund companies, and I would also add accounting firms to this too. Employers will often contact Boston University when they have financial planning positions that they want to have filled, and we post their job information on our program's website. So please be sure to check our website when you're looking for all types of positions in the financial planning field. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about what's involved in becoming a certified financial planner. And we have 4 steps to certification, and we call these the 4 E's, and they are education, examination, experience, and ethics. So let's go over each one of them just briefly so you have an understanding of them too. All right, with education, there's just really 2 requirements to complete the education part of that requirement. First of all, you have to complete a program that's registered with CFP board, like the Boston University Financial Planning Program. The other thing is that you have to have a bachelor's degree. Now, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, I want you to be aware that the CFP board will allow you 5 years to get your degree after you pass the board's exam. And your degree can be in any particular major. It doesn't have to necessarily be in financial planning or finance-related subjects. Frankly, I was an English major, and it's really helped me learn this material. So it's not like I really needed to have a background in accounting or finance in order to become a CFP. On the next slide, we have the challenge status, and I wanted to put this up here so that you were aware of it, because if you have any of the professional designations that we've listed here, such as CPA, CFA, JD, CLU, CHFC, and a PhD in business or economics, then you can actually waive the board's education requirement. This means that you would only need to take the required capstone course or submit a financial plan to sit for the board's certification exam. And if any of you have any of these degrees or designations, and you're still thinking of perhaps taking a couple of courses, I'd be very happy to give you information about what's involved and what courses might be most appropriate for you. Now, the second E is examination, and that's a CFP board certification exam. I just want to be upfront with you and tell you that this is really a very rigorous exam. It's a 6-hour exam. It's computer-based, so it's over one day. You just go to a Prometrics testing center on one day. You'll make that appointment, and you'll go in and you'll be working on this exam for 6 hours. The exam is held 3 times a year, and so you can always depend on that exam being offered in either March, July, and November. So even right now, if you want to start enrolling in the BU Financial Planning Program, you can determine when in the future you might want to sit for the board's exam and start working towards that schedule. The Prometric testing centers where you have to go to take the exam are really all over the country. So it should be pretty easy for you to find a center that's close to you. When it comes to the exam questions, they're all going to be multiple choice. So there's 170 of them are multiple choice. But I want you to be aware too that there are also cases that are embedded in these multiple choice questions. So in the exam, you'll have a case, and then let's say there's some smaller item sets where there might only be 5 or 6 questions about that small case, or there may be a very large comprehensive case, and they would have a larger number of multiple choice questions around that. So it's not just pure multiple choice learning information and regurgitating it back. The board wants to know that you can actually apply all of this information to client situations. Now, I said it is a pretty rigorous exam. The national pass rate is basically 60%. Sometimes it goes a little bit below that amount, and sometimes it goes up to maybe 62%. But this seems to be the range in which we find the national pass rates. We have to be careful about talking about pass rates. The board has very strict rules about giving information about pass rates, but I can just tell you that our Boston University program is ranked so highly. We're ranked number 2 in the country, and one of those factors that they take into account are pass rates. And so I just want you to infer from that BU's pass rates have been consistently higher than the national averages. And, that's probably about the most that I can say about that for right now. But we've been in this business of educating students for a long time. We have an amazing group of instructors that we've assembled to teach these courses. We have curriculum that's tried, true, and tested, and we know how to get you where you need to be successful on the exam. All right, let's talk about work experience, which is the third E. What I want you to be aware of is that you need to have 2 to 3 years of full-time work experience. Now, why I'm saying 2 to 3 years is because there's actually 2 different requirements. You only need to have 2 years if you are right now doing comprehensive financial planning or plan to do comprehensive financial planning. What comprehensive financial planning means, of course, is that you're using all of the subject areas that we mentioned earlier, like risk management and investments and retirement planning and estate planning and taxes, so that you're working with clients using all of these subject areas. However, you would need 3 years of full-time work experience if you're only doing one particular function. Let's say that you're just doing giving tax planning advice. That would not be considered comprehensive or integrative financial planning, and so you would need to have 3 years of full-time work experience. Some of the things that the board looks for would be direct interaction working with clients in at least one subject area. 10 years of prior work experience is considered. So what happens is once you take the board's exam and you pass the exam, they're going to look back 10 years to see what work experience you've had in the past. And if it meets their criteria for the work experience requirement, then you'll be all set. If it turns out that you still need to get a little bit more experience, or you have no experience after you have passed the board's exam, then the board allows you to have 5 years to fulfill this requirement. So if you have any questions about possibly meeting that work experience requirement, then you should go to the board's website or contact the board. And the board's website is www.cfp.net. They will certainly, they're so helpful, and they'll be there to answer the questions that you might have. All right, and let's move on to the fourth E, which is ethics. CFP certificates must abide by the board's standards of professional conduct. What we have is a code of ethics that applies to all CFPs, and we have something called practice standards. And practice standards are the steps that are involved in the financial planning process that all practitioners have to follow. Now, I want to make sure that you know whether or not you initially qualify to become a certified financial planner. And so if you would like to look to see what those requirements are, you could review the candidate fitness standards that are found in the Guide to CFP Certification. This explains the conduct that would disqualify somebody from becoming a CFP. So if you have something in your past that you're not aware of, whether or not that would disbar you from becoming a CFP, or whether it's fine or not, you could take a look at this Guide to CFP Certification on the board's website. And if you have questions about some of this information too, I'm very happy to answer them for you. Okay, so those are the 4 steps in financial planning. What we'd like to do to round this off is tell you about the BU program for financial planning. I'd like to give you just the highlights of this information, and then certainly we're going to turn it over to all of you to make sure that you get your questions answered as well. First of all, it is 100% online, access to all course content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We want you to understand that this is a self-study program and that you can go through this program at your own pace. It's available to you once you enroll in the program. So it's really up to you to determine what your study schedule is going to be. Now, we have created some study guides for those who want to go through the program within 9 months, within 1 year, within 18 months, or within the traditional 21-month program. And this way, if you follow those guides, they're going to help you to stay on track with your studies so that you can complete the program on your own schedule at your own pace. The second bullet point is the one I think that all of us are the most proud of. The BU program is one of the most renowned and prestigious programs in the country. Our program has been educating students for over 35 years right now, and the online program is ranked as the #2 financial planning program in the country out of about 350 programs, and that's according to thebestschools.org, if you wanted to look that up. Our program is a 7-course certificate program, which will include that final capstone course. And if you do complete all of your courses through Boston University, then you're eligible to receive a BU certificate in financial planning, which would be awarded to you if you complete the program and meet all of BU's education requirements. We have streamlined curriculum. We have actually gone through the program and done a huge revision and overhaul of the curriculum and updated the program's curriculum so that we can shorten your study time and help you complete the program much quicker than before. We have webinars are a very important feature of our program. We have them live and also recorded for those of you who can't be there for the live session. The reason we have webinars are so that you can get your questions answered by our course instructors. And so if you go to the webinar and attend a live webinar, that's your opportunity right there to get those questions answered. We have 2 webinars for each subject, which are curriculum-based, and then we also offer many other webinars on topics of interest. So we have new webinars that are held every 2 weeks, and we hope that you'll get into the habit of putting that onto your calendar and participating in these webinars, because we have a variety of speakers and BU instructors that are conducting these webinars, and I think you'll find them all to be very, very interesting. Another feature that we have throughout this program is something called practitioner advice videos. What we do as we're teaching you this information is you'll be on a page, and yes, we have academic information for you about the curriculum, but we break them up into little pieces so that you can really understand and absorb it. And then what we do is we have a practitioner advice box, which tells you why this is important and actually how to apply that information that you just learned to a financial planning situation. In other words, we're training you throughout this program to think like a financial planner and to become a financial planner in the future too. We also now have videos from some of our instructors and former students who are experts in that topic. And they're only 2 to 4 minutes worth of a video, but they're trying to tell you the importance of this information and how you can apply it to your own client situations. Within our program, we have faculty facilitated discussion boards. These let you connect with other students and also with the FP facilitator to get your questions answered. We have rolling admissions, which allows you to start anytime that's convenient for you. And you'll also, of course, get instructor support. This is going to be available to you through emails and discussion boards at all times. And one last thing I'd like to tell you about are our BU instructors. All right, so here you can see a group of our BU online instructors. We really do have some phenomenal instructors, and I believe that that's why the BU program is ranked so highly throughout this country. Here's a few of them that we have who have contributed to the program for many years, and they are also some of our webinar instructors. We have about probably 12 different instructors who do the webinars. So these are just some of the guys who have really contributed to the curriculum, and also a picture here of Fang Long, who is our FP facilitator. Fang is the person who will answer all your questions and help guide you through your courses. And I want you to be aware of the fact that there is no charge to contact Fang. You can contact her with your questions as often as you need to get any assistance that you need with your studies. All of our instructors, as you can see here, are CFP practitioners, and many of them also hold many other designations like CPA, CFA, JD. You can see some of the credentials here that Ken, Bill, and Dan have obtained in addition to their CFPs. So all of the instructors that we have in our program are considered specialists in their field, and they're also experienced in not only teaching in the classroom and online programs, but also they have done the test prep review instruction as well. So they've covered everything for you, and I think that you will certainly get a lot out of your instructors based on their knowledge and their ability to bring some of these difficult concepts to you in a way that are really easy for you to understand. All right, so I think we have one last poll question here.
We do, yes. So our last poll question is, how did you hear about the BU Financial Planning Program? First answer is CFP board website, a Google search, referral from a colleague or friend, employer approved program, or other. And we'll just give you a moment to answer this poll for us, please. All right. And here are results.
Wow, it's really interesting. Look at that. 40% said a Google search, and just 17% said the CFP board website. And I guess I would have thought it would have been the other way around. So you never know. That's why you have to ask. Referral from a colleague or friend, just 12%. No one is here through an employer-approved program. And we have 31% said other. So I'm wondering what that other could be. But anyway, thank you very much for your attention and listening to this part of our program. Now, what I'd like to do is turn the presentation over to Carrie Scott, who is from our enrollment team, and she's going to go over the schedule and the enrollment options with you. Carrie?
Thank you very much, Carolyn. Hello, everyone. I wanted to go over the various full program enrollments packages that people can enroll in. In just a moment, we'll talk about single courses as well. But the full program, it's all 7 courses that fulfill the educational requirement in order for you to sit for the CFP board exam. Option number 1 is the program only. The program only means that the student is responsible for purchasing the books, and that option is $4,395. The next option is the full program plus books. The books are required, so with this one, we would be shipping the physical textbooks to your home or office. This option is $4,995. The books, there are 7 books. Their approximate cost is about $1,000 for the books, so there is a savings that we pass along to you with the books package. Last but certainly not least is our full program with books and review. The review is after the BU program is over, but before you sit for the CFP board exam. In this package, it is our most popular package, is $5,895. Students have the option of paying the various tuitions we just spoke about here in full, or we do offer a 6-month interest-free payment plan, in which case you would take the package that you choose, divide by 6, and that would be the amount of your monthly payment, and that would go directly on either your credit card or a company credit card. Next slide, please. The other option students take is a single course at a time. So we have listed the 7 courses here with the tuition next to them. And as you can see, the first 6 courses, Introduction to Financial Planning through Estate Planning, those are $695. You do have a with book option, which would bring it to $795. And last but certainly not least is the capstone course. That is where we bring everything together and we put what you've learned in the first 6 courses into a real life situation. The capstone course is $995 or $1,095 with the textbook. Next slide, please. If you have any questions, whether it's about the course or about the tuition information that I just covered, please feel free to give us a call. We are more than happy to assist you. We have I've listed our phone number here. You can also email if you prefer email, or if you go directly to our website, we do offer live chat as well. And if you have any sort of CFP board related interests or questions, we've listed the CFP board's website for you as well. And with that, I believe I'm going to turn it back over to Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carrie, and thank you, Carolyn, for this very informative session you've given us here today. So at this time, we will dive into our questions and answer session. We have had some questions come in throughout the duration of the webinar, and I know Carrie has answered some via text, but we will read a few aloud here. So our first question coming in here is, what is the expected time frame in which I should complete the courses? And Carolyn, I will pass that to you, please.
I'm happy to answer that one. And actually, there is no expected time frame. It's really up to you. If you're in a situation where you want to accelerate your studies and want to finish them within a year or a little bit more than a year or 18 months, that's entirely up to you. If you don't have that situation, if you're working full time, you have family obligations and many other responsibilities in your life, you may want to go at the pace where it is a 21-month program, and so that you would finish up in 21 months. Again, it's a self-paced, self-directed program, so it's entirely up to you.
Great answer. Thank you, Carolyn. And our next question for you is, this person says, I'm a CPA with public accounting, 2 years experience, in corporate accounting, 3 years. Although I can try to bypass the majority of these educational courses, numbers 1 through 6 that we outlined, I'm wondering if it would be better to go through the entire program for a more comprehensive learning experience. And can you give any insight into this as to what other CPAs have done in the past?
Oh, that's a great question, but actually there's not one path that CPAs will take. Some of them feel very confident about all the different subject areas, and they'll just take the capstone course, which wraps everything together, and then they'll feel that may be sufficient, or that, along with the test prep program, will get them prepared to take the CFP board's exam. However, if there are certain subjects that a CPA is not as well versed in as, because of the type of work that they're doing, let's say investment planning or risk management or even estate planning, then those may be the courses that you would want to take to fill in some of the others. You may know retirement planning very well. You may certainly know income tax planning very well, but you may want to supplement with some other courses. So I'm very happy to speak to people either by phone or email, to maybe get your particular situation, to see what the best course of action would be for you and to make an education plan for you. So please reach out to me.
Great, thank you, Carolyn. Another one for you here. You had mentioned that the CFP practitioners are over 70 and then not as many under 30. Has there been a lag in interest for this reason?
No, and it's the reason for this is pretty unique. the financial planning as a professional field has only been around for about 50 years. So when you think of it, who had to start in financial planning were people who had already just started one career and became career changers and went into the financial planning field. So if they were going into the financial planning field about 25 to 30 years ago, they were building up their own practices because there weren't that many options for financial planners in the past. They started their own practices, and now they're at the age of retirement. And they have these booming practices that they need to have some succession planning. So what they want to do now, and so many of them are looking for younger planners, and younger meaning younger than 70, who would be able to come in, take over their practice, and train them in the way that they want them to be trained, get them to work with the clients the way that they want their clients to be worked with. So there are great opportunities right now for people to get into the financial planning field by coming in an entry-level position and working with financial planners of existing companies and taking over that financial planning practice in the future. So that's why we have so many over the age of 70, and that's why we're trying to encourage more people to enter the field. Because again, 83,000 CFPs might sound like a lot, but it is not. When you think of all, throughout all the states, 83,000 is not enough to handle the demand that's coming in right now.
Great answer, Carolyn. Thank you for that. And here's more of a technical question for you. How many times are you allowed to take the exam, and do you know what the exam costs?
Something, the board has changed that. And so don't quote me on this. I think you can take up to 3 to 4 times you can take the exam. I know in the past it used to be 6, and it is not 6 any longer. But that's something you could easily find that answer on the CFP board's website. The reason I don't know is because I don't know people who have to keep taking it over and over and over again. People who go through our program, if they don't take it the first time, if they don't pass the first time, we encourage them at least to take it immediately at that next exam cycle, while this information is still very much alive with them, and they haven't forgotten that information, and just really hone in on the areas that they need that special attention to. So I don't know of people who take it over and over again. Again, you can find out from CFP board though.
Great, thank you. And from your experience, what areas of the country are most underserved by CFP professionals, if there is any?
I'm not sure I would say what area of the country, but I could tell you a population that's underserved, which is more middle class, and those who don't have the same financial wealth as those who are the mass affluent, people in our society. Because people with great wealth will certainly find financial planners, and those who have even greater wealth will find family offices to be able to take care of them and their financial needs. So I would say the middle class America really needs advice more than many others, because they don't have the financial education or the wherewithal or feel that they can afford to spend money going to get financial planning advice, which is truly not the case. They can afford it, and not only that, it's so important for them to find out exactly what it is they need to do and to have a financial plan and goals that they can work toward. It will save them so much money instead of making mistakes in the long run. So I would say what really needs more attention right now is not the mass affluent wealthy people in our country, but middle America and those who are not quite in the considered mid wage earners. So I think there's a great need for everyone to have financial planning.
Great, thank you for speaking to the demographics of that. That's very helpful, thank you. And then I know we might have touched on this a bit, but this person is asking, on average, how many hours of study are needed per course if we break it down that way?
I can take that
That's
one
a
if you'd
really
like.
good question. Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
Sure. So feedback that I've received from students, based on approximately 8 to 10 hours of study per week, a student would complete a single course in 2 to 3 months. And just please remember there are 7 courses that make up the full program.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carrie. And Carolyn, would you say this program is even good for teachers that may not have a financial planning background?
I'm laughing because, frankly, the career changers that we see most often are teachers and also engineers. Isn't now, I don't know why, but that's the way it's been over my 25 years experience in this field. It's a great place for teachers to be. And frankly, I'm interested in any teacher who becomes a CFP certified and is interested in CFP education, because there's also a great demand for those people who have higher education and the CFP background to be able to be teaching for universities and colleges right now, teaching CFP subjects, because there are about 350 programs right now in the country, and they're growing all the time. More and more schools are starting their CFP programs, and there's a desperate need for instructors. So get your CFP and come and talk to me.
Great. Thank you, Carolyn. And then this person, it's a very similar question. They're saying that they do not have any financial planning experience. They're looking for a career change. What are the benefits of earning the CFP upfront versus gaining some practical experience, maybe in the field before pursuing this certification?
That's kind of a tough one to answer. I'm not sure which way is the best way to go. I'd say that if you have an opportunity to start working in the financial planning field and also to take these courses, it will become far more relevant for you, because that way you're putting your practical information that you're learning and putting that together with the academic information that you're learning, and will help you become a better financial planner. However, if that's not possible, then what you could do is focus entirely on your education, get that out of the way, and then once you have your have passed the board's exam, even though you don't have your CFP yet, because you have not fulfilled the work experience requirement, then you are still going to be very desirable for employers who want to hire knowledgeable people to work in their firms, and they know that you are already on the path to becoming a CFP. The hard part's behind you. You have the education behind you. You've passed the board's exam. You're just looking to put in the get that experience that you need, and so you will be a desirable candidate for these firms who are looking to bring on more people. So there's not one best way to do it. There are different ways of doing it. So really, it's up to you. And if you would like some career counseling around that, again, I'm happy to make myself available to you.
Wonderful, thank you. And this next question, they also have no experience in the field. Does that mean that they would have to work 5 years as an apprentice after passing the exam to be able to obtain their full CFP certification, as we had outlined in the presentation?
Yeah, no, actually, what it is, it's after you take the board's exam and pass the exam, the board will give you 5 years to get your work experience requirement fulfilled, which is either 2 years of full-time work experience if you're doing comprehensive planning, or 3 years of work experience if you're not doing comprehensive financial planning. So it's within that 5-year window after you take that board's exam and pass it that you need to get your work experience fulfilled. So which is a 2 or 3 year path from that point on.
All right, thank you. And this person is saying, with myself only needing to take 3 to 5 specific courses, do you think it's plausible to complete these courses and take the CFP in either November or March? So someone accelerating.
No. I mean, I'm blown away by that. That's incredible. I mean, that's wonderful that you could take so much, but there's there's a lot of, Carrie has told you how much time that needs to be devoted for each subject. And if you really don't know these subject areas very well, then it may take you longer for each one of these courses too. Certain topics are going to take you longer than others. So I would say trying to cram it in as fast as possible, finish the capstone course, take a test prep program, and be able to sit for the board's exam in such a short period of time would be incredibly impressive. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but I'm saying, wow, that's you're not giving yourself much wiggle room in order to do it properly. However, if that's your plan and you want to do that, then we will help you get there. So good luck to you if that's what you'd like to do. And again, if that is your plan, I'd like to hear from you so that I can make sure that you're on the right track for getting all those courses finished, so that you know about the different deadlines for the exam and things of that nature. I don't want you going into that blind.
Thank you for your honest answer, Carolyn. And Carrie, this is a question for you based on tuition. Does BU offer any type of military or veteran discounts for this program?
So I can tell you that the BU CFP program is approved by the VA. I would kindly ask you to call or email us, and we'd be more than happy to give you the VA representative at BU who will assist you with detailed questions about using your military benefits.
Great, thank you, Carrie. And Karen, this is an interesting question. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this. How could technology impact the work of CFPs in the future?
Well, it already is, frankly, and it's interesting to see how instead of people sitting down and taking a client and really going through what all of their financial planning needs are, and then taking those needs and calculating what needs to be done and calculating their investment planning. A lot of that right now is being sort of farmed out, if you will, to algorithms and to technology and to robo-advisors. And so some of the sort of grunt work that we all used to do for clients is being made easier through technology. However, people will, clients will still need to meet with real planners, and they have real goals and fears and needs and family situations and dynamics that need to be addressed, and that can only be done through the art of financial planning. Because financial planning is not just a science, it's not just technology, it's not just investment information and tax information, it's the art of financial planning to put together a comprehensive plan that will help someone uniquely meet their goals. And so financial planners will not ever be able to be replaced by these robo-advisors and who can perhaps give information on investments only, but not on all the aspects of financial planning.
Right. Thank you, Carolyn. And another one for you, based on the fact that current professionals are aging out, how valuable is it for someone in their 50s to pursue CFP designation?
Very valuable. And because think of it, the people who are in their 70s right now, let's say, who have these mature practices and are looking for business succession planning, they want to bring somebody in who also has that maturity, who has different background, work experience, different perspectives in life, good communication skills. They prefer to bring in someone like that who can more quickly get up to speed and work with their clients. I think one of the advantages we have with those of you who are considering getting into this field as career changers is you bring a lot of wealth of experience in other fields and maturity to this process. And that is really what all firms are looking to hire. You know, it's wonderful that there are undergraduate programs out there and that younger folks are going to be able to graduate with degrees in financial planning, but they still haven't had the life skills, maturity, different types of real-world experience that career changers bring to the financial planning field. And remember, this field was built by career changers. So there's a place for career changers in here, really of any age. And so if I were 50 years old, I'd take a look at this and say, well, okay, I'm looking at this as a second career. How long do I anticipate working in this field? But there still are opportunities for people in their 50s to be hired.
Wonderful, thank you. Our next question coming in, do you cover software packages that do financial planning and modeling? And if so, how many and which ones?
We don't have any software packages. We don't recommend any at all. What will happen is once you start working for a firm, they'll have their own software packages and their own training on what they want you to learn. So we don't get involved in that part of the training part of it at all. We're strictly involved in CFP board's education. There are 72 topics that you need to know, and we make sure that you learn all of that. When it comes to on-the-job training, getting skills for software and whatever companies want to use, that's more on-the-job training.
All right, thank you. I know we have just a few minutes left here, and we have a few questions left to answer. So if you have any lingering questions, please ask them now. And Carolyn, does the 170 questions cover the 7 areas of CFP? And I'm assuming they're referring to the exam.
Yes, the 6 subject areas of financial planning, they certainly do.
All right, great, thank you. And then another question here, is this program applicable for anyone who's living outside of the United States? Does it cover tax laws that are only presented here in the US, or would this be good for somebody in other countries?
This program is US based, and so all the tax laws and government policies from the United States are what we teach and what you will learn. If you're in another country and you're considering becoming a CFP in a different country, there are many other countries who do have their own education requirements and their own exams, and so you may want to look into that. This is terrible. I think it's the FASB is one of the financial planning organizations that handle CFPs outside of the United States, and so you may want to take a look at their website to find out what requirements are for the country that you're interested in doing some planning.
Great, thank you. And this person is asking, Carolyn, do I need to quit my current job to get the CFP required experiences, or could I find some part-time job to make up that required experience?
That's a hard question to answer because there isn't just one path for career changers. So it's really up to what your circumstances are and where you live and what opportunities are available to you. There certainly are some employers who just want to have hire people part-time to begin with, especially those who are new to the field, and sort of ease them in and have them learn some of the different aspects of their financial planning firm. But every firm is different. What I would say to you is to start getting information through professional organizations. Real quickly, there are 2 of them you should be aware of. There's something called the FPA, which is Financial Planning Association, and there's another one called NAPFA, NAPFA, which is National Association of Fee-Only Financial Planners. What these organizations do is they will put you in contact and allow you to network with people in your area who have financial planning practices. How did they get started? Meet these people, talk to them, find out what's available, find out what firms are available, what firms are hiring, find out how you as an entry-level person can get into the field. I know here in Boston, we do get entry-level positions that are offered to our students, and we put them right on the website for all to see. But again, I don't know what part of the country you're from, but I'm just saying you're going to have to find your own path, and the only way to do that is network with the people who are already in the financial planning field.
All right, wonderful answer. Thank you, Carolyn. And we have just one more question here that I will ask. And Carrie, I will pass this to you, but please direct if otherwise. Is there a way to start on a module-based education package like we have offered and then decide on one of the more comprehensive program packages?
At this time, there is not. We ask students to try their best to choose whether they would like to take a single course at a time or whether they would like to take the full program and pursue it in that manner.
All right. Thank you all for your participation today. We've had some great questions asked and some great answers from our presenters. So that concludes our session for today. Thank you all for taking the time to tune in and learn how Boston University can help you achieve your career goals. Again, just for those who might have missed, we will have a recording of today's presentation sent out within the following few days for your reference. Thank you all again and have a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you.